These stories are based on real experiences shared by people online, told exactly as they describe them. I've worked night shifts long enough to know how exhaustion messes with people. Memory gaps, hallucinations, faces blending together under bad lighting. That's why when my coworkers started acting strange around me, I assumed it was just another symptom of working nights. I was wrong. I worked security at a small distribution warehouse on the edge of town. The place ran 24 hours, but the night shift was quiet. Too quiet most nights. Just me, a couple of forklift operators, and a supervisor who stayed in the office pretending to work while streaming sports on his phone. I'd been on that shift for almost a year. Same schedule, same routine. Clock in at 10 p.m., do perimeter checks every hour, log badge scans, watch cameras, clock out at 6 a.m. That routine mattered because what happened later depended on it. The morning it started, I walked into the break room to grab coffee before heading home. Two guys from the loading team were already there. They went silent when they saw me. Not awkward silence, unnatural silence. One of them stared at me like he was trying to solve a puzzle. The other looked down at his phone like he'd been caught doing something wrong. "Morning," I said. Neither responded. I didn't think much of it. Night shift messes with people. I grabbed my coffee and headed for the locker room. As I passed the supervisor's office, he leaned out of his chair. "Hey," he said slowly. "Did you forget something?" "No," I replied. He frowned. "You sure?" "Yeah. Why?" He hesitated, then waved it off. "Never mind. Go home." I didn't push it. That was my first mistake. When I got home, I slept like a rock. I didn't wake up until late afternoon, my phone buzzing with missed calls. 3 from unknown numbers, 1 from work. That never happens. I called my supervisor back. "Hey," I said, "you called?" There was a pause. Then, "Yeah, I just wanted to make sure you were home." That phrasing stuck with me. "I am," I said. "Why?" Another pause, longer this time. "Listen," he said, lowering his voice. "Did you come by earlier today?" "No," I answered immediately. "I just woke up." "You're sure?" "Positive." He exhaled sharply. "Okay, we'll talk tonight." The entire drive to work that evening, my stomach felt tight. Something was off. When I walked in, the atmosphere was different. Conversations stopped when I passed. People avoided eye contact. Finally, one of the forklift operators pulled me aside. "Man," he said quietly, "are you messing with us?" "What?" I asked. "Don't play dumb." "I'm not." He studied my face, then shook his head. "You were here today." "No, I wasn't." "Yes, you were," he insisted. "Around noon, you walked in, talked to Mark, scanned your badge, then left." "That's impossible," I said. "I was asleep." "Then who the hell did I talk to?" I laughed nervously. "You probably saw someone else." "No," he said. "It was you. Same jacket, same voice." My supervisor called a meeting about an hour into the shift. Just the night crew. He closed the office door behind us. "This stays between us," he said. "What I'm about to say is strange." No one spoke. "Earlier today," he continued, "someone entered the building using your badge." He looked directly at me. "That can't happen," I said. "I have my badge." "I know," he replied. "That's the problem." He pulled up the access logs on his computer. There it was. My name, my ID number, time-stamped at 12:17 p.m. I felt cold. "That log system doesn't glitch," he added, "and the cameras show someone coming in." "Then let's watch it," I said. He hesitated. We did. And? The room was quiet. "The cameras in the main hallway caught the person," he said carefully, "but the angle never gives a clear shot of their face." "Convenient," someone muttered. The supervisor clicked through still frames. A figure in a dark jacket. My jacket. Same height, same build. Walking exactly like me. "Zoom in," I said. He did. The image blurred. The face was just wrong. Not distorted, indistinct like it didn't want to be seen clearly. "Why didn't you tell me this earlier?" I asked. "We wanted to rule out a prank, or sleepwalking, or—" "I don't sleepwalk," I snapped. One of the guys spoke up. "He talked to me." Everyone turned. "What did he say?" the supervisor asked. "He asked if the night shift had been quiet lately. Then he smiled and said, 'Good.'" My throat went dry. "That's something I say," I whispered. "Yeah, that's why I didn't think twice." I went home that night shaken. I checked my apartment. Doors locked, windows shut. My badge was on the counter where I always left it. I checked my phone. No calls, no texts. Still, I barely slept. The next day, I stayed awake all day. If someone was going to show up pretending to be me again, I wanted proof I was conscious. Nothing happened. Until the third night. I was on camera duty when I saw movement in the hallway feed. A familiar shape stepped into view. My heart started pounding. The camera showed someone walking past the lens slowly, deliberately, wearing my jacket. I stood up. "That's not possible," I said. The figure paused, just for a second, like it knew it was being watched. Then it turned, just enough for the camera to catch the side of its face. It was mine, but empty. No expression, no blink, just skin stretched over features arranged perfectly and lifeless. The feed cut to static. I don't remember leaving the office. I don't remember calling my supervisor. I only remember sitting in my car afterwards, hands shaking, staring at my reflection in the rearview mirror. The next morning, my supervisor called me. "You're taking paid leave," he said, effective immediately. "What about the footage?" I asked. Another pause. "It's gone," he replied. "All of it." A week later, one of my coworkers texted me. "Hey man, I don't want to freak you out, but someone who looked exactly like you stopped by today, asked for me by name." I stared at the message. Then another came in. "If that wasn't you, how did it know my name?" I haven't gone back to that warehouse. But sometimes when I wake up in the middle of the night, I feel like I'm not alone, like someone else knows my routine now. If stories like this unsettle you, let us know in the comments. And if you enjoy this kind of true horror, consider subscribing. My mother has always known my routines better than anyone. She knows what time I usually call, what shoes I leave by the door, how I knock when my hands are full. That's why I knew something was wrong the moment I saw her face. I'd stopped by her house one evening after work, nothing unusual. I parked in the driveway, grabbed my bag, and let myself in like I always did. The house was quiet. Too quiet. Then I heard her voice from the kitchen. "You're back already?" "Already?" I stepped inside. She was standing by the counter, gripping the edge like she needed it to stay upright. Her face looked pale, almost gray. "Are you okay?" I asked. She stared at me, really stared, like she was checking details. "You changed clothes," she said. "What? You were wearing something else earlier." I laughed. "I haven't been here today." Her mouth opened slightly, then closed. "Yes, you were," she said. "You came by around noon." I shook my head. "Mom, I was at work. I didn't leave until 5. She didn't answer right away. She walked past me, locked the front door, then checked it again, twice. "You stood right there," she pointed to the hallway. "Same height, same voice, same face." My stomach tightened. "What did I say?" I asked. She hesitated. "You asked if I'd eaten. You told me not to forget my appointment tomorrow." "That's normal," I said. "That's something I'd say." "I know," she replied quietly. That's why I didn't question it. She sat down at the table and folded her hands together, knuckles white. But something felt wrong, she continued. You weren't acting like yourself. You were copying yourself. I forced a laugh. You probably just saw someone who looked like me. No, she said immediately. It was you. I pulled out my phone and showed her my work time card. Clocked in all day, no breaks long enough to leave. GPS data, messages sent from my desk. She stared at the screen but didn't look relieved. Did you touch anything? I asked. She nodded. You hugged me. That made my skin crawl. You don't hug like that, she added. It was stiff, like you weren't sure where to put your arms. I stayed the night. I told myself it was stress, loneliness, a trick of memory. But when I went to the guest room, I noticed something small and unsettling. My shoes. They were by the door. Not the ones I was wearing, but the pair I usually left there when I visited. I picked them up, cold, like they hadn't been moved recently. Mom, I called out. Yes, she answered from her bedroom. Did I take my shoes off earlier today? There was a pause. No, she said, you didn't. Neither of us slept much that night. The next morning, I left early for work. As I backed out of the driveway, I saw her watching me through the window, the curtains barely parted. That afternoon, she called me. You came back, she said. My hands tightened on the steering wheel. No, I didn't. Yes, she insisted. You stood outside the door. I pulled over. When? About 10 minutes ago. I'm 40 minutes away, I said. She lowered her voice. Then who was it? I asked her to describe everything. You knocked twice, she said. Not your usual knock, slower, like you were thinking about it. Did I answer? No. I asked who it was. And? You said my name, she whispered, softly, like you didn't want the neighbors to hear. A chill ran through me. What did you do? I asked. I told you to leave, and you did. That night, I checked my call logs. No outgoing calls, no missed calls, no messages. Nothing that explained any of it. 2 days later, my aunt called me. I saw you yesterday, she said. My heart sank. Where? At the grocery store, she replied. You walked past me. I didn't see you. You didn't look at me at all. Your eyes were fixed straight ahead. I stopped breathing for a moment. Did I say anything? No, she said. That's what scared me. I stopped visiting my mother for a while after that. We spoke on the phone instead. Even then, she sounded distant, like she was choosing her words carefully. One night, she asked me something that made my blood run cold. Do you remember the scar on your left hand? She asked. Yes, I said, from when I was a kid. She swallowed. It didn't have it. What? The one who came here, she said. Everything else was perfect, but the scar wasn't there. I didn't know what to say. A week later, she called me in tears. It tried again, she said. I drove there immediately. She had locked herself in her bedroom. The front door was still locked, no signs of forced entry. It stood in the hallway, she said through the door. Did it say anything? I asked. No, she whispered. It just smiled. I stayed with her until morning. We installed cameras, new locks, motion lights. Nothing was ever caught on video. But sometimes when I call her now, she pauses before answering, and when I ask why, she says the same thing every time. I needed to make sure it was really you. Before I tell this story, I want you to do something. Think about how many times you've been caught on camera without realizing it. Public transit, stores, streets. Now imagine watching that footage and seeing yourself somewhere you know you've never been. That's exactly what happened to me. I used the same city bus every weekday morning. Same route, same seat, same driver most days. It was automatic. Wake up, shower, grab coffee, walk to the stop, ride downtown. I liked routines. They made life feel stable. That stability ended with a phone call from the transit authority. The woman on the line sounded bored, like she'd made the call 100 times before. "We're following up on a reported incident," she said, "involving you." "That's not possible," I replied. "I haven't reported anything." "No," she said, "you were reported." She explained that a passenger had complained about my behavior on the bus 2 days earlier, said I made them uncomfortable, said that I stared without speaking. "That doesn't sound like me," I said. "That's why we'd like you to come in," she replied. "There's footage." I almost didn't go. Something about it felt wrong, but curiosity and a need to clear my name won out. They sat me in a small office with a monitor mounted on the wall. A man clicked a keyboard and brought up the video. The date was correct, the time matched my usual commute. The bus doors opened, and there I was. Same coat, same backpack, same haircut. I felt my chest tighten. "That's not possible," I said quietly. The man didn't respond. The version of me stepped onto the bus and sat down in my usual seat, didn't check a phone, didn't look around, just sat perfectly still. Too still. "Can you pause it?" I asked. He did. I leaned forward. It was my face, there was no mistake. Same scar above my eyebrow, same crooked nose. But something was off. The eyes. They weren't focusing on anything. "Play it," I said. The footage resumed. A woman sat across the aisle. She glanced up, then away. Then she glanced back. She shifted uncomfortably. I felt my palms sweat. "Why did she report this?" I asked. "She said you stared at her the entire ride, didn't blink, didn't move." On the screen, the woman stood up early and moved closer to the driver. The thing that looked like me didn't react. The bus reached my stop. The footage skipped. "He didn't get off," the man said. "He stayed on until the end of the route. But I got off that day. I remember it." "We know," he replied. "You badged into your office 10 minutes later." My stomach dropped. "Then who is that?" I asked. The man didn't answer. After a moment, he said, "Is this some kind of prank?" "No," I said. "I've never seen this footage before." He studied my face, then nodded slowly. "There's something else," he said. He fast-forwarded. Near the end of the route, the bus camera glitched, just for a second. When the image stabilized, the figure finally moved. It leaned forward and looked directly into the camera. I stopped breathing. It was still my face, but the expression was wrong. Not angry, not blank. Curious, like it just realized it was being watched. The footage ended there. I left the building shaking. That night, I checked my apartment. Everything was normal. Too normal. Except my coat, the one I wore every day. It was missing. I searched everywhere. Closet, laundry, car. Gone. I didn't sleep much that night. The next morning, I skipped the bus and took a cab. I told myself it was paranoia. 2 days later, my neighbor stopped me in the hallway. "Hey," he said, "weird question. What's up?" "Were you waiting outside last night?" My heart skipped. "No." He frowned. "Someone who looked exactly like you was standing near your door." "When?" "Late," he said. "Just standing there." "Did it go inside?" I asked. "No," he replied. "It just walked away." That's when I noticed something else. My coat was back, hanging in my closet, cold. I stopped using public transit after that, changed routes, changed schedules. I even changed the way I dressed. But every so often, someone would say something small. "I saw you earlier. You walked right past me. You didn't say anything." If this story is making you uncomfortable, you're not alone. And I want to ask you something. Has anything like this ever happened to you? If it has, leave a comment. You're not the only one listening. The last incident happened a month ago. I got an email from the transit authority. No message, no explanation, just an attachment. A still frame. It was the same bus, same camera. The figure stood at the door this time, looking out, waiting.